aka Twiga. Nimekuuliza nikupepetea ngapi hujajibu? 7. 7? Unanichocha. 7. Hai. Boleje ina pressure. Alo. Ikitosha mseme niache.
10.
Wewe, ikitosha mseme. All right, ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana kwenye Monday Blitz. Arocho uko fiti?
Niko poa.
Weekend imekuwa sawa?
Perfect. Yes, other than my team
month December imeingia.
Other than Shabana losing, I think the weekend was okay.
All right. Kabisa, kura FKF inakuja.
Yes.
By Saturday next week tukipatana hapa. Next week tukipatana hapa tunajua.
We'll be having a new president.
Most definitely, because yule yuko anatoka.
Iangalie either way. God, you cannot take us through all this suffering.
Yes.
We need a new president.
All right. That is a rocho for you. This is Monday Blitz, and of course we are asking you a question of the day. We want you to be interactive because kura FKF ya president finally inapigwa in the next 6 days. Tukihesabu leo on Saturday, tutakuwa tunajua by usiku ni nani anakuwa president wa FKF, na tunakuuliza wewe that you are watching us today, who is best suited to be the next FKF president, and why do you think they are best suited? If you want to say mimi nafikiria ni Sam Ochola, kwa nini? Mimi nafikiria ni Tom Malila, kwa nini? Mimi nafikiria ni Hussein, why? Mimi nafikiria Doris aendelee atoke vice akuwe president, kwa nini? Former CEO Bari, why? All right? Nani sijataja? Shimanyula pia, kama unafikiria ni yeye, kwa nini? All right? Tuambie. Alafu member still SMS number is 22047 hashtag Morning Cafe same Monday Blitz. Tupelekana na rada, tuko kwenye Facebook, YouTube, anywhere tuandikia na TikTok, we will still read your messages. Sindio? All right. Arocho, I know you want us to start with that question. Lakini wacha kwanza nikupeleke ugaibuni.
Hamna noma.
Alafu sasa tutarejea baadaye, sindio?
Yep.
All right. Let me ask you about Man City, because hiyo ndio burning issue saa hii. Pep has not undergone what he's undergoing right now. Pep has never lost, has never gone 7 games without a win in his career. It has happened. And do you think this is the best time for us to see the best of Pep, like when he's faced with a situation that is not been before?
Well, I think Pep is just an unlucky man. Unlucky man because there are 2 reasons why I believe that City is not performing. One is the number of injuries. Look at the fact that, for example, a player like Kevin De Bruyne came in.
Yes.
He was so rusty. He's not the Kevin that we know. And he could not really deliver. And in fact, initially I wondered why he didn't start. But when he was brought in, I confirmed that that was the reason. The fact that he doesn't have that much fitness. And of course, the second one is the team is currently lacking confidence. You could see the way they were playing.
Yes.
You could see the way they were reacting. Look at the second goal, for example.
Yes.
Diaz, so careless. I was a central defender when I was playing, and in central defense there's one rule that you can never be perfect on the ball. When you have the ball and you're the last man, you just have to make sure that you give it back either to your goalkeeper, because for me he could have received that ball and played it back to his keeper and then given the keeper an option, or even try to look for Kyle Walker earlier, because Kyle Walker came in, tried to save the situation. So the confidence levels at the team are way too low, and this is the reason why the team is not performing. There's something I saw in him after the match. He went to the fans and gave an indication of 6 matches. I think he's just trying to show them that yes, we've lost 6 straight matches, but we are still the Man City that you fans know. And I was also impressed by the fans, the way they responded to the team. This time we didn't see the boos that we saw in the previous match. And for me, that is soccer. When you're down, your fans must be with you. And when you're performing, of course, the fans should be with you.
But on that one also, I also think that it was a response to Liverpool fans because they were chanting him, "You're getting fired tomorrow." So he turned and told them, you know what? I have won 6 Premier League titles in 7 years. I am still the king in this one. But for him to turn and address rival fans, don't you think it's getting to him now? Is the pressure getting to him?
Of course, it must be getting to him. He's not used to not performing. Look at his history. Excuse me, in German,
Yes.
the way he performed. In Spain, the way he performed. So he is a tactician who is not really used to the current situation. Initially, my prediction for this match, I predicted Man City to win because I looked at it as a turning point for Man City.
Yes.
But it didn't happen so, and I believe that there will be a turning point for Man City. Yes, the league might be slowly, they might be losing the grip slowly of the league.
Yes.
But I'm not seeing them going past top 4. It is a team that is still quite formidable. They just need to get back their confidence, and they'll be back on course.
They are currently seated at position 5, 11 points from the league leaders Liverpool. Is their way back to the top of the league?
I'm reluctant.
A third of the season having been played.
I'm reluctant to say that they can still challenge the league, but the Champions League slot, I still see them challenging. Yeah. The reason why I'm looking at, I'm saying so is because look at Arsenal, on and off.
Let's not go there.
No.
It's
because
it was off and on.
No.
There's no off.
It is on and off because I think the last 3 or so matches have been perfect.
Yes.
But before that, you remember there was a lull
which was perfectly explainable.
Yes, but it was a lull.
Yes.
Look at the fact that the other team up there, Chelsea.
Yes.
For me, yes, they've picked their groove, but I still believe that there's still more lean moments coming for Chelsea. Yes. Look at Manchester United, a team that is also expected to be in that equation, and they are not there. Yes. So it is not lost yet, simply because the teams that are pushing are dropping points here and there. But look at example for the last 2-3 seasons. When Man City was chasing the league, they were not dropping points carelessly. And that's why that contention was quite strong up there. Well, where Arsenal and City were always, for the last 2-3 seasons, were always top, and they were always in contention. But this season, I'm not seeing even teams doing 90-plus points when we're done with the season. So that's the reason why I still believe that City are in contention.
Well, there is 75 points yet to be played. Ukihesabu zile games zimebakia. Liverpool, vile tumesema, iko 9 points clear now of number 2 Arsenal. People have been saying that at some point we shall see cracks in this slot game. But so far, we've not seen these cracks. We keep waiting for them to come. You know, they meet Arsenal, they take a point from the Emirates. They meet Chelsea, they beat Chelsea. They meet Man City, they beat Man City. Do you believe at some point we will see a breakdown in this slot system? Ama they could be gone and gone?
No, Liverpool will have some late moments. You know, not many teams are expecting Liverpool to be in contention this season. It's a team that, for me, has surprised many with the excellent performance that they've posted this season. And once we're done with the first leg, in the second leg, I'm seeing them. Teams will have learned how they're playing. They'll have learned their pattern. And of course, they'll be ready to dismantle that. So it might not be seen in the first leg, but in the second leg, you will definitely see them dropping points, even to decimal sides, with the lack of a better word. They'll drop points to the likes of the Brentfords of this world, the Wolves of this world. So expect more. And that's why I still believe that City is still in contention. Perhaps losing another 6 points, yes, they'll be gone. But as at now, I'm seeing them as an outside contenders.
Well, I don't think it's happened before that anyone has come back from 11 points behind. Well, all you have to do is pray for Arsenal. Pray for Arsenal to chase Liverpool and pray that they get to them, because, of course, we do not want to have a league by game week 30, the league is gone. We all know what is the champions-elect. Tunaona kabisa ni Liverpool. It won't be a league. It won't have the oomph, you know. So all you have to do, whether you like it or not, just pray for Arsenal, you know.
Well, as much as guys should pray for Arsenal, the other team that also need prayers is Manchester United.
Are you placing Manchester United in the title contention?
No, I'm not.
Please.
And I'm a realist because look at the fact that they won against Everton. And Everton is no team. Yes. In the last 5 matches, Everton has conceded 6 goals, scored only 1. So for me, you cannot judge a performance or a Manchester United performance with that Everton win.
But you can say that this is an improvement because when last did you see Manchester keeping a clean sheet and scoring 4 goals under Ten Hag?
There was no real opponent in Everton.
Either way, it is still the Premier League.
There was no real opponent.
Do you believe if you are playing under Ten Hag, you'd still have gotten 4 points? 4 goals, 3 points,
yes.
Clean sheet.
Everton.
4 goals, clean sheet.
Look at the fact that in the last 5 matches, they've only scored a goal. In the last 5 matches, they've conceded 6.
Yes.
They've not won. So, for me, that win, yes, it's 3 points. But it's not something that should make United fans start celebrating. It's way too early to celebrate when you win against the current Everton.
Yes.
Not the Everton that we are used to. They are playing against Arsenal in the next match. For me, that is a very good. That's a very good avenue for them to start feeling comfortable.
Yes.
If in any case United will get 3 points when they play Arsenal, then you'll start thinking that United can be not a contender, but top 4, not a title contender, but a top 4 contender. But I'll say it once again, the win against Everton for me is not a substantial win. It's just a win, but not a win that will send shockwaves or give a statement.
Well, it could give a statement in the sense that people like Rashford seem to have found their shooting boots. You know, Joshua Zirkzee that everyone had already ruled out. He's scoring goals now in the Premier League. You know, Rashford had a very bad run, you know. But under this guy, from the first game he played under this guy, the Ipswich game, you could see sparks of Rashford. And yesterday, we saw fire. Beyond the sparks, now we saw fire. Rashford is coming back. At least you gotta credit this man that individual brilliance is being seen now. Like, boys are performing to the levels that we were not seeing under Ten Hag.
I'd like to attribute that to the atmosphere, the new atmosphere at the team, and the character within the individual players. Yes, you're talking about Rashford, and for him to perform the way he's performing, I don't want to attribute it to the coach 100%. I'll attribute to the atmosphere that the new coach has brought in, and the mental character within the player. Because you know, a player you have to push yourself as a player. Because yes, it's a team effort, but individually you also must perform. And that's why you see players being rated after a match. A team might win, but you'll see certain players rated below average simply because the others did all the work. Kudos to Rashford. Mentally he's been down. He's been a player who even missed the Euros. Many were not expecting him not to play in the Euros. He didn't play in the Euros because he was not performing. But with such performance, that confidence will start coming back. And you know, as I said, football is about confidence. When you lose your confidence, that's why Man City, once again, I'll go back to City. They're not performing because individually players have lost their confidence, and collectively, of course, the team is not working. But let's not use these results as something to kufurahisha mashabiki wa United. They should stay where they are, and they should continue managing the expectations.
Do you back them to get a result against Arsenal at the Emirates on Wednesday?
Yes. These results against Everton might, I'm not saying that I'm definite, might help them psych themselves ready for Arsenal a match. Though Arsenal is also strong. The performance over the weekend is not a mean feat. Winning against West Ham. Yes, West Ham might not be playing well currently, but this is a derby. When two teams from one region meet. And I've attended a London derby. It's totally different. The atmosphere is totally different. And when you win a derby convincingly the way Arsenal did, then it shows that this team is currently on another level.
All right. Talking of us, Arsenal has scored 13 goals in 3 games. You know, at sometimes last year there was a run like this in the last season where they went away, got 5 goals, got 6 goals, got 5 goals again. You know, and it seems to they have turned the bend now. They are getting the results that you expect them to get. You know, Odegaard being back. I told you. I asked you here a question. I asked you a question here.
Be very careful.
Feel Odegaard is the best player in the league.
Very big words. Be very careful.
Yes.
Just 2-3 matches back, Arsenal have not won a match.
Say 3.
Yes, 3 matches. They had not won a match. In the before we did.
Say in the month of November.
Yes.
Yeah, we were having a terrible.
Yes.
Okay, towards the, okay. So
that
October, November. But just like we are saying, City is going through that moment where every team goes through. Arsenal has gone through it as well, where you've been not getting. First of all, let's credit VAR and the referees for that, because I don't think there's a game we've lost with 11 players in the pitch.
No, that's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse. I'm telling you. Let's apportion blame and credit where it belongs. That's it. That in any game that Arsenal has dropped points this season, there has been referee involvement against Brighton, against Bournemouth, against City.
Too bad.
You know?
Too bad. That's
dropped points because of referee involvement.
Shut up.
But as you're saying, I'm using big words, but these are facts.
Yes.
For example, look at Bukayo Saka. Let us talk about Bukayo Saka. Has 10 assists this season, you know, in 13 games. Remember, the record Premier League assists is 20. That is held by Kevin De Bruyne and Thierry Henry. Bukayo Saka has already done 10 assists in 13 games. He has 25 games to match that record. Do you mean you don't see that happening?
Well,
he only needs 10 assists.
The reason why I'm talking about
in 25
big
games.
words is those you're just picking the statistics that for me favor Arsenal. But
you can bring any statistic that you think does not have Arsenal
at
this
the last
juncture.
3 seasons.
Yes.
Shatter.
Yes.
For me, that speaks volumes. Look at the last 3 seasons. The way Arsenal has been performing towards the last few games of the season.
Just look at last season.
They
played very well. What's the end of it?
The reason why Man City has been on top is because of Arsenal. Because the team that has been pushing or chasing City in the last 3 or 4 seasons is Arsenal.
Yes.
So for me, they've been lacking something.
Yes.
To make sure that they dislodge City up there. But well, why are we Tumia Martin Awino Upo?
Yes.
Once we are done with the season, and I told you remember I told you about the first 10 matches.
Yes.
It will describe this season.
Yeah.
And as things are now unfolding, you are realizing that 10 matches, 15 matches will describe this season.
All right. And in describing this season, you know, I will not let you rubbish Arsenal. You know? Remember last season, because you've said let us look at the past. Last season, Arsenal was having a rough patch. You know, they went to Dubai, the boys came back, and they were flying. You know, Arsenal has undergone that rough patch.
Okay.
They've come back flying, beating Nottingham 3-0, beating Sporting, which was including you. Nobody thought Arsenal would win that game in Lisbon. We went there, thrashed that team. It was unbeaten in Europe. The only team that was perfect in Europe was Sporting. They shipped in 5. We've come back. We've gone to West Ham at the London Stadium. They shipped 5, you know. And now we are at home. Remember this. In the next 10 fixtures, Arsenal is going to be playing in London. The next 10 fixtures, we are not traveling anywhere. If there's any team, ni kukuja wanakuja nyumbani. If we travel, it's just to Fulham, teams in London.
Within London.
You know. So we guaranteed that Arsenal is not going to be traveling. So story of fatigue, tour.
So what we do, Shatta?
What Arsenal, the 30 points that are here are for Arsenal.
Are for Arsenal to grab. Let's do this. That I think will run into mid-February, the 10 matches.
Yes.
Let's look at Arsenal mid-February. Then you'll remember that I told you that the reason why Liverpool might win this season is because of Arsenal. And I'm not seeing any other team that will challenge Arsenal for the second slot. Or the top slot. There are only 2 teams. There will be a very big gap between Arsenal, Liverpool, and the rest. So for me, it's Arsenal to make sure that City or Liverpool doesn't win this league.
Definitely. It is for us to make sure we win the league. We put it like that. Okay? There's a team that is joint side at number 2 with Arsenal, which is Chelsea as well. And we cannot rule out Chelsea in this contention because clearly they've been living up to their expectations. In fact, nobody expected Chelsea to be where they are right now. We thought they'd probably be justly with Kina Brentford, Kina Fulham, but Chelsea have held their ground and they're here and they are showing intent like we are here to stay.
If there's a team that has shown consistency in the last 5-6 months, it's Chelsea. I'll pick it up from when guys were saying that it's a bloated side with everybody in the team. That was a problem, and you've seen the way they've solved it. As currently, Chelsea is so comfortable. They might be going through rough patches because in soccer that has to happen, but the way they convert the lemons to lemonades, for me, has been very successful and very commendable. So it's another team that is also showing a lot of consistency, but I'm not seeing them ultimately surviving. It might be too much to ask from Chelsea this season to challenge the titleship. Going by what has happened when the season was beginning, or even just before the season began. So for me, Chelsea might not be the team to push.
Yes.
And once again say that Arsenal is the team to push. But I'm not saying that to take anything away from them. Perfection. They've had a very good time of to relax. It's a team that has soaked a lot of pressure, soaked a lot of criticism, but then now converting it to positives. Once again, lemons to
lemonades. Okay, let's take a break. Tukirudi, I want to remind Arocho that Chelsea is only playing in the Conference League. Carabao walitolewa, FA najua wataachilia. So it means Chelsea will be having a rest for a whole week. Just waiting for you guys to go around Europe, come back, unapata wako fresh, they beat you, and you end up Chelsea wako number 2 kwa ligi towards the end of the league huko April. But anyway, let's take that break. Tunarudi. But before we go, remember tumekuuliza swali ya leo that tumekuuliza that we want you uchangie is unafikiria ni nani anafaa kuwa rais wa shirikisho la soka nchini? Who is best suited to be the next FKF president and why? SMS number is 22047. Tuandike pia kwenye Facebook. Shall be right back after this break. Keep it locked.
Vile unavyojua watoto wengi sana hawana namna. Mimi ningependelea watoto wasome.
I'm here to stress on education. At the same time, let us actually do any kind of sport that we are doing. Sport speaks the best language to everybody.
Tunataka tutafute talents. Zile raw talents kutoka kule nyumbani mashinani mahali tuko leo.
Hizi mbio za Chepsaita, like all other sports, zinaleta watu pamoja.
We want to use this event to uplift the lives of the community.
Anafurahia hii mchezo sana. Hata sikaange naambianga watu tuende Chepsaita.
Wanafunzi wakimbie ili wakuze talanta ya mbio ama kuhimiza tena elimu.
This is the place to be. Hapa ndipo mahali wanastahili kuwa tarehe 7. Wale watoto walikimbia last year, wamekimbia mpaka wamefuka mipaka zetu za Kenya.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house.
and gentlemen, to the morning cafe. Upande ya Monday, masaa inaitagwa Monday Blitz. Shatta Boy alongside Rocho tukichambua mpira. And before we took that break, we had asked you our question of the day. Nye tunataka kuwa interactive nayo ni who do you think should be the next FKF president and why? Who do you think is best suited to be the next FKF president and why? Madirector wangu ukiweza pata jina za aspirants wale wako unaweza kaeka hapo kabla sijaambia Rocho anze kuwataja hapa. Alright? But before we took that break, kwa tunaongelea Chelsea ya Rocho, na kuna pali ulisema tusiandike na mate tukiwa na wino. Pia kuna msemo wa Kiswahili unaosema ngoma ya kitoto haikeshi. Ngoma ya kitoto haikeshi. Kwa hiyo people that hapa vile tumeenda break studio watu wanasema don't rule out Chelsea, you know, but kwa hiyo huo msemo wa Kiswahili kwamba ngoma ya kitoto haikeshi. Do you think pale Chelsea kuna mentality na leadership ya experience yenye inaweza onyesha vijana how to chase the season, how to chase a trophy, how to chase the title?
No,
do they have that experience?
No. I don't think that is at Chelsea at the moment. Even the cohesion at Chelsea is dani kama bado inaweza wapatia that drive to challenge the season. Yes, I might be proved wrong as the season goes to the end, but ukiangalia tu, it might be too early for Chelsea to chase.
Yes.
For me, this is the first season that Chelsea is coming back. So it might be too early to expect that kind of performance from Chelsea. They will do top 4, but they cannot win the league, going by the way I'm seeing them in the last 6-7 matches.
As we said, Ancelotti akona a new style of play because he's new to the Premier League, so people watamsoma at some point. Do you see the same for Maresca pale Chelsea, that probably people haven't learned his style of play? It only takes the first leg learn, then second leg inakuwa ngumu.
Yeah, that might be what will happen, because even the team, leave alone the coach, is kind of even the team, the players within Chelsea, they are relatively new in the league.
Yes.
So it takes time before now people start working on them and making sure that they don't perform. And you've seen that in several teams. For example, Liverpool, I said that the first leg will be somehow good, but in the second leg, of course, something will happen. They'll draw points, and that will definitely happen as we progress into the season. So Chelsea, good start, good performance. It might give them back the confidence that they've needed.
All right.
It's a team that also lost confidence, and they need that confidence to help them challenge top 4.
All right. Before I bring you to Tottenham, there's something we have to mention about Chelsea, is that sometimes individual brilliance could carry a team. You know, there are players you expect to perform or to deliver and probably fail you. But at Chelsea, we expect Palmer to deliver. He's delivering. You know, there's someone that has been very much underrated, someone that people say this is not a footballer, and that is Nicholas Jackson. But he's ticking every box. You know, Nicholas Jackson is up there. He's fighting. Probably if Haaland continues with the run he's having, Jackson shall be up there with Salah, competing for the Golden Boot. You know, talking of Mo Salah, because we did not mention it. Mo Salah has been answering Liverpool on the pitch. Why? His contract is running out at the end of the season. Liverpool have not offered him a new contract. In the previous game he played, he said, you know, I am more out than inside as it is, because there is nothing that has been offered to me. Yesterday, after he said that, pundits, specifically former Liverpool player Jamie Carragher, was on his neck, saying he's very disappointed with Salah. Why is he talking about this? Well, he knows there's a big Champions League game coming against Real Madrid. Yesterday, Salah spoke again, you know, and he said, as far as I'm concerned, this could be my last game against Man City for Liverpool. So I am enjoying it. And akijoka akasema, I am wondering, Carragher hajakuwa papatiare a player of the match, probably hangenipatia. What I get. So he's fighting with the Liverpool management. But with the kind of service Salah has given Liverpool management, do you think they're treating him right?
They're not treating him right. Look at the fact that, you know, initially he was at Chelsea.
Yes.
And such reasons are the reasons why he left Chelsea.
Yes.
Procrastination in offering a better deal. A player like Salah is a player that ought to have been, ought to have got his new deal way early. You don't wait until, because that one only happens to a player that you're not really confident that will fit in your game. But look at what Salah is doing.
Yes.
His performance yesterday, when it was a big match, he scored a goal. He was quite outstanding in that match. So I think they're not treating him well, and that brings a lot of uncertainty. Players abhor uncertainty. And soccer in itself also abhors uncertainty. You need to give me that confidence that you believe in me. You need to give me my contract so that I start preparing myself psychologically for the seasons that I've signed in. But when you just let me stay until my contract runs out, one, you show that you don't have confidence in me, and two, I might pick an injury. For example, if Salah picks an injury, at this particular moment, what happens? True. It might interfere with his career, not necessarily at Liverpool, but his entire career. You need to give me confidence. You need to give me that sense of togetherness, because once you give me a contract, I feel at home. And that's the reason why you hear him saying that I'm more out than in. He's just trying to send messages to the guys concerned so that they can give him his new contract.
Could Saudi be his next destination? Because it is, as it is, if Salah was to land in Saudi today, he becomes the biggest name in that league. He becomes the face of that league. Will you take that over Europe?
Yeah, me, I'll take, you know, I go back to when Olunga was there was talk that he was leaving Europe for Asia, and the reason why he was leaving Europe for Asia is because of money. Guys, tusidanganyane. It is money and money and money. Salah is not young. What else does Salah need to do in Europe?
Nothing. He's won the Champions League, he's won the Premier League, he's won every domestic trophy.
Now let him go for money, because the money is what will make you comfortable for the rest of your life. I'm not seeing him performing in Europe above what is already done. So if I was Salah, the reason, I think the other reason why Liverpool are not committing, I think there's some negotiations behind the scenes in Asia that might be giving Liverpool that lack of confidence in him. I'm sure it's just because it's kept under wraps. Somebody somewhere in Asia is discussing a very big deal with Salah, because as you said, if he steps in Saudi, if even he steps in Qatar, he'll be the big thing in that league.
Yes. Legally, he's allowed to start negotiating with the teams from next month. So I'm sure we'll see what happens. And if that happens, if he starts negotiating with teams, we know for a fact that he'll ataanza kujichunga. Asipate injury na asha negotiate sijui na Al Hilal huko. So probably you won't see the best of Salah towards the end of the season, probably because he'll be playing akijichunga asipik injury. Unaget? But anyway, that is for that. Kama ataenda even better, hata akitaka kucheza second leg asicheze, it is the better for Arsenal. Because of time, turudi hapa nyumbani ya Rocho.
Yep.
Kwanza, kwa nini mmeweka kura on a Saturday? Ama kuna games hato?
No, traditionally, the FKF elections has been on a weekday, or weekend, sorry.
Yes. Why can't it be on a weekday?
I don't know. I think this
because it's a match week.
Yeah, it's a match week. I don't know why they do that. I think the board just settled on that day, and if you're observant, you'll realize that the deadline we were given, I think we are 2 weeks away from the deadline, because the deadline is on the 31st, and we are having our elections on the 7th. In 3 weeks.
Yes.
So I think the board did that, not necessarily looking at the days of the week. They were looking at the deadline that FIFA gave us, so that in any case we were having, because it was expected, court cases here and there, and disputes here and there, so that we could be having at least a cushion of 3 weeks before the deadline comes.
All right. My preference would have been on a weekday, because it affects a lot, because these delegates when you on a vote, most of them teams zao zinacheza, you know, over that weekend. So mnaweza kama mko hapo mko torn in between, mko game mnaendelea huko mnasikia wewe mtoto ampiga kura opposite. A lot could happen, you know. Anyway, guys, in case you atuelewani ama amjui tuko wapi, is that the presidential elections za FKF zinafanyika this Saturday. Zile zilifanyika 2 weeks, was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago? Zile zilikuwa za mashinani. Tukapata sasa delegates wale wana chairman wale watakuja kupiga kura for the president, which will be happening on Saturday. And we asked you, kati ya wale aspirants wako ni nani una feel anaweza kuwa the best? Okay, as you can see hapa kwenye screen majina yao mnaekewa. Who do you think should take over FKF as the president? Is it Barry Otieno akiwa assisted na Lucy Kaiga? Kumbuka Barry Otieno amekuwa former FKF CEO. Lucy Kaiga na is the outgoing chairperson of the FKF Nyandarua branch. Kuna Chris Amimo akiwa anasaidiwa na Anthony Makau. Chris Amimo ndio head wa youth football at FKF, proprietor of ligi ndogo and a former FKF NEC member. Anthony Makau, who is vice, is the interim Eastern Region NEC member and a former referee committee vice chairman. The next one ni Cleophas Shimanyula aka Toto na Antoha Mbarak. Cleophas Shimanyula mjue is the current chairman and owner of Kakamega Homeboys. Na Antoha Mbarak is the vice chair of the Bandari FC and a former FKF vice president. Kwa hivyo ni kurudi anarudi kwa kiti alikuwa before. There is the current vice president and the current president, Doris Petra and Nick Mwendwa. Doris Petra nimekuambia is the current FKF vice president and is vying to be the president. Now the current president Nick Mwendwa, the outgoing president, is now seeking to be the vice president or Doris Petra. All right, the next one is Hussein Mohamed and McDonald Mariga. Hussein Mohamed is the CEO of Extreme Sports. McDonald Mariga, as we all know, is a former Kenyan international footballer and the only Kenyan to have won the UEFA Champions League with Inter Milan in the year 2010 under Jose Mourinho. All right. Mwingine ni Sam Ochola akiwa assisted na Willis Waliaula. Sam Ochola is the current Secretary General of Gor Mahia. Willis Waliaula is a former Harambee Stars team manager and has held similar positions at Tusker FC and Batoto Bamungu aka Sofapaka. Sami Kempes Owino and Evans Kadenge. Sami Kempes Owino is a former Kenyan international based in the USA. Alafu Evans Kadenge is the current chairman of Nzoia Sugar FC. Tom Alila akiwa na Berila Dhiambo. Tom Alila is a former FKF NEC member, very vocal at that. Alafu kuna Berila Dhiambo who is a former referee and coach. Tumemaliza wote ama kuna mwenye sijataja? Yeah. Perfect. Kwa hivyo kama mko mnajua nyumbani, hao ndio aspirants na mmeona vitu wamefanya na vitu wanafanya, si ndio? So the 92 delegates wale watakuwa wanapiga kura on Saturday, watakuwa wanachagua among hao. All right, so we had asked you the question of the day. Kati ya watu umeona hapo, who do you think is best suited to be the next FKF president and why? All right. Arocho, unataka kujibu swali nimeuliza watu nyumbani?
Maybe I'd like to go through the candidates.
Yes.
And how I look at them.
Yes.
I believe that we can have the candidates once again on the screen.
Yes.
So that I give you my opinion.
Yes.
On each of the candidates.
Naweza kutajia unasema.
Tulianza na nani?
I think tulianza na tuanze tuna Barry. Sina kutajia tu.
Well, Barry Otieno is the outgoing CEO.
Yes.
Barry has very good networks with these delegates. He's also a very strong contender.
Yes.
Many might not look at him as a strong contender, but someone who is in the industry, I really feel he has very good chances of winning. Lucy Kaiga is an MCA currently in Nyandarua. I don't know much about Lucy. She's been there. I think this is her first term. I think either first or second term as a branch chairman. This is a very viable candidature.
Yes.
Though there are issues about Barry being in the previous regime.
Yes.
And some also feel that Barry might be holding brief for the
current regime.
Something that I really dispute because he presented his candidature and in any case he was holding brief for them.
Yes.
That means they are going to divide those votes. He might, the scenario that might bring that is if there's a runoff. Because the constitution of the FKF says so well that you must have 50 plus 1
Yes.
votes for you to be declared the president. So if in any case he's holding brief, then he might be holding brief until the first
electioneering period, yes.
Then when we go for the rerun,
Yes.
then he might come in to have a collusion or something of that kind. So it's a formidable candidature.
All right.
The next we had was...
what do you think of Ochola?
Chris Amimo.
Let's go to Chris Amimo.
Chris Amimo. For me, Chris and Anthony Macau are not candidates.
Yes.
Chris and Anthony are guys who felt that Nick might not run
on the ballot
because there were issues about his candidature.
Yes.
So they were holding, I don't know who was holding brief for the other.
Yes.
They thought that if Nick was not there, they're going to come in as
the replacements.
Yeah, the incumbents, because they're currently co-opted members of the FKF.
Yes.
They've been in that federation. So this is, for me, is not a formidable, because they're not even campaigning. You're not seeing them anywhere.
Okay.
These are guys who are just waiting.
Unasema walikuwa understudies. You see, when you're performing on like when you're doing a stage play, you're told you're an understudy, because if the main character drops out,
then you come in.
All right.
So that's,
let us move to the next one.
The next candidate.
Yes.
That is Cleophas
Shimanyula. Yes.
Cleophas is formidable because he has a vote.
Yes.
At Kakamega Homeboys. Cleophas is somebody who is quite outspoken. I like the fact that he's outspoken.
Yes.
But I'm not seeing him as a top contender. The combination with Tua is good, but Tua lost in Mombasa. The branch in Mombasa was quite instrumental for this candidature. His candidate lost, and he doesn't have that vote at home. And I even doubt that he'll get votes from Bandari. I do a lot of my research, and I have a feeling that Bandari, his club, in itself is not going to vote for him. So when you don't have your own vote, your own constituency, then there's a problem in your candidature. So,
but after the county elections were held, Shimanyula appeared to have had so very many chairmans across the board.
No, okay. I don't know what to say about that, but I'm not looking at him as formidable. The other day he had he brought in he invited the 90 so delegates, and I think he only got about 23 to 30.
Yes.
For me, that was not a good show.
What do you mean it's not a good show? If you get 30 that you've convinced,
not convinced.
If you get 30, if I've called you and you've come, it means you are more in than out.
No, not in
no, let us use that.
Not in this.
If I have called 90 and I get 30, that is a third. You know? Probably I might force a runoff.
No.
Don't you see a scenario where he forces a runoff?
Not in this game. In this game, when you call 90, you get 30 minus 10. Yes. Because
either way, if he's getting 20 and someone else gets 20 somewhere else, of course that is an automatic runoff.
20 in a contest of 90.
Yes.
You're not a formidable force. For me,
what do you mean, Arocho?
You've given
in a contest that took watu nane.
You've given me an opportunity to break down, and I'm breaking it down.
Okay, let's go to next.
They are not formidable.
All right.
Next. Now, Doris Petra and Nick Mwendwa.
Yes.
For me, this is a regime that is tainted in a lot of suspicions.
Yes.
And a lot of accusations. I have a problem with this team.
Yes.
In Doris Petra regime as the vice president, this is where we lost our Obi-Wan. When Nick Mwendwa was the president, this is when we lost our Obi-Wan. 127 million Kenya shillings was lost. They went and bought air and came and told us that this is an Obi-Wan. So this, for me, is the problem of Kenyan football.
But there has been an explanation to that Obi-Wan.
What explanation?
They said that they ordered for the Obi-Wan. Yes, they did bad business. The company folded.
No, somebody must be held responsible.
But isn't that supposed to be the procurement officer's issue?
No. It is within your regime. Did you do any due diligence before you sank our money? You know, for me, this is just child play.
Yes.
For me, it was a boomerang. You throw a boomerang, it comes back to you. Yes. If you understand, you understand.
Yes, I do.
This regime is the problem of Kenyan football. This is the regime that when FIFA gave Kenya $1.5 million, they have never accounted for that money. 187 million Kenyan shillings was given to Kenya when at the height of COVID. So do you want me to tell you that this is the problem of Kenyan football? Nick Mwendwa and Doris Petra. Doris has never said anything about COVID. Doris is implicated in the scandal where our ladies were alleged to have gone to Tanzania and they never went to Tanzania. Their passport was stamped to have left the country and they never left. And for me, somebody should be in jail because of that scandal. Because the government was involved. When your passport is stamped and yet you didn't travel, something was very wrong. So for me, it represents the bad and the worst of Kenyan football. Let's proceed.
But before we proceed, Arocho, I must be the devil's advocate.
Please.
You know, you guys have been ruling out this pact or this team. You say, you know what, this is the outgoing team, this team cannot come back. But every hurdle that has been put their way, they have conquered, including the last one last week, where everyone thought they would not be in the ballot, and they won the case, and they'll be in the ballot on Saturday.
Shut up, boy. God willing, will be with you on Monday. I'm just finishing that candidature by saying this.
Yes.
You can fool some fools sometime, but you cannot fool all the fools all the time. So you might do your ujanja here and there, but your time will come.
All right. Okay.
The other candidature, Hussein Mohammed and McDonald Mariga. I'll start with McDonald.
Yes.
You know, what else do you want from a candidature of
McDonald
Mariga?
Yes.
Mariga has played to the top of Kenyan football.
Yes.
Mariga has played to the top of European football. Mariga has the experience. Mariga has what it takes to play football. Yes, somebody might ask, yes, playing and managing. And that's where Hussein Mohammed comes in. Hussein Mohammed is a businessman. Hussein Mohammed has worked in the corporate world, and you've seen what he's done. He has been running extreme sports for the last 20 or so years. He's done grassroots football. In fact, Hussein Mohammed his strong point is grassroots football. We saw when he was doing extreme soccer tournaments, our pitches were filled. So for me, when I look at Hussein Mohammed and McDonald Mariga, I look at a perfect combination. For me, this is the team that is going to take Kenya to the next level, because we are going to host CHAN in 2 months' time.
Okay.
We are going to host AFCON in the next few years. For me, this is a very formidable combination.
Okay. Hao wengine watatu, you have 30 seconds. If you take it,
I don't even need much.
Okay, Samochola, tukipita.
Samochola and Liaula, next time they can have another shot.
Yes.
The other candidate?
Kempes,
another very good candidate, but his entry point was wrong.
Okay.
You talk to Kempes, you realize that he knows what he's talking about, but the way he entered into this race has destroyed his chances, if you ask me.
Alila?
Tom Alila, surely, no. No. Let's talk about something else.
Give me your red card to Kifunga.
My red card. This week goes to, I don't know how I should put this, but I think more needs to be done.
Yes.
I was at Ruaraka grounds the other day, yesterday, when there was a league match for women's soccer. We need to emphasize on women's soccer. Whoever is going to be elected as the FKF next president, let's place our efforts on women's soccer. I give the red card to the current regime because we have neglected women's soccer. I was so embarrassed. There are certain things I cannot say on this screen. I saw yesterday when two teams, another team from Nanyuki was playing a team from Nairobi in the second tier. And for me, it was embarrassing. So we need to emphasize, concentrate on women's soccer.
All right. Thank you very much. Na mimi on my punch, naongelesha tu wale delegates watapiga kura Saturday. Like, you guys, you are not visitors in Jerusalem. You know the kind of state our football is in. And the future of this football depends on you guys. Whatever you choose to do on that day will determine how we live 4 years. The next 4 years of football ya Kenya, ambapo tunafaa kuhost AFCON, tunafaa kuhost CHAN, and any other tournament that comes our way, na pia si qualify to other tournaments, na pia grassroots football yetu ya madem na vijana iko kwa mikono yenyu. And on Saturday, mta decide. Please do the right thing. All right? That's my punch. Wacha nipate feedback ya watu wawili watatu kabla tujamalizia show. Kumbuka tulikuwa tumewauliza kama mnafikiria nani anafaa kuwa rais wa FKF. Hapa kuna SMS Shata ni Gilbert Rotich kutoka Nyaru. Kuna mtu wadau. Okay. Shata ni Gilbert Rotich kutoka Nyaru. Nataka umwambie Arocho atuachane sisi kama Arsenali date 4 tukutane na wao. Watakubali. Tutawavurutia chini mbaya. Sante Rotich. Good morning. Enjoying the sporty analysis from Nairobi. My take, anyone who has been in the leadership and nothing mumenipoteza. Okay? Bas, asante. Nothing has happened. I don't think they should be elected. We need new blood. Clearly that one is reading from the same book na Arocho. Alafu tukafungia hapo wadau. All right. Weka ya mwisho tukimalizia. Amesema this is David and there's something I had requested you about a team I'm supporting back in the village. Ongea na Arocho. Boost even if it's uniform or balls. Ni team gani David? Iko pande gani? Please fafanua. We see what we can do. All right. Alafu nani mwingine wa mwisho? Kuna amesema anataka timu ya Mariga. Muo fire. Big up on yourself. Mwambie aombe delegates wakipiga kura on Saturday wapige vile wanafaa kupiga. Thank you very much guys for tuning in. Let's do this again next week on Monday. Tutakuwa tunajua nani ametake over FKF. Alafu kunaenda aje. Si ndio? Na pia Arsenal itakuwa imepiga Manchester. Tutakuwa tunasikia furaha. Rocho atakuwa sijui kama atakuwa na furaha Manchester ikipiga. See you next week guys. Thank you very much. It's been amazing. It's been Monday Blitz. Keep it locked. Tukitoka hapa ninaona Star na tayari anakuja kuwapeleka na Rihanna. So maintain. Ivo. Ufa.